1985 holds claim to the greatest marketing and advertising blunder of all time. And this week, I'm going to tell you the role that I played in a very small way this week on Sackville Sunday Stories. The Cola Wars of the 1980s, Coke versus Pepsi. Who was going to be the winner in soda supremacy? I'll tell you, Coca-Cola had the distribution on lock, right? They were in all the bars, restaurants, movie theaters. They had distribution. But at retail, Pepsi was on the rise. And in a lot of taste tests, people were choosing the sweeter tasting Pepsi over Coke. If you were ever in any sort of marketing, advertising, PR class at the university level, this will always be brought up. In 1985, Coke, in desperation, changed the formula for the very first time, and it had absolutely horrible results. At that time, I was a scout, 5th Sackville A Troop. We used to meet at Knox Church. Because Coke was coming out with this new formula, they wanted everybody to taste it. Now, to be fair, it's very easy to Monday morning quarterback this and say, oh, Coke, they were so stupid. I would never do that. But listen, man, like, this is years later. You can't say what you would have done in that situation unless you were in that situation. I think Coke has been treated very unfairly when it comes to this. They needed to make a decision. They made one, and boy, did they suffer. But my role, I was a scout. We were raising money to go to Guelph, Ontario. And the people at Coca-Cola made a deal. Hey, scouts, deliver a can of Coke to every home in Sackville, Bedford, and the outlying regions. So we did. We all met at Acadia Hall. There was a big 18-wheeler filled with cases of new Coke, new formula Coke. Bring it one to every house. So we did. We got in groups of 4 scouts, 1 scout leader, 1 car, packed with the new Coke formula. Well, guess what happened? We started delivering it all through Sackville. Boom, boom, house, house, house. Once we finished Sackville, out to Beaverbank. Boom, boom, boom. Out to Bedford. We were in 1980s Bedford Eaglewood delivering Coke. Then we got into some outlying areas. Some areas that were, made us a little uneasy. We pulled into this one place, and it was a row of businesses, and on top, a row of apartments. And it did not look welcoming. It looked a little sketchy. And to be honest, I said, do we have to go in there? Scouter Al, who actually lives right over there, Scouter Al, says, no, come on, guys. We are getting paid for this, and we made a promise to the people of Coke that we're going to deliver a can of Coke to every residence, so you're delivering a can of Coke to every residence. You can't break a promise. And he was right. But he didn't know what was inside that building waiting for us. So me and this other kid, Frenchie, loaded up these kit bags, filled them with cans of new Coke, walked around to the side of the building, opened the door, no lock, no buzzer, nothing. Dimly lit stairwell, stairs, landing, stairs, hallway. Very dark. Frenchie and I made our way up the stairs, got into the hallway. The hallway, man, like 4 lights out of 5 were burnt out. It was very dark. At the end of the hallway, Frenchie and I could see the silhouettes of 4 people, and unmistakably the bright orange glow of a cigarette as they took a drag. Smoking in the hallway. It was a thing back in the 80s. So Frenchie and I are walking down the hallway towards the smoky, silhouetted figures, putting a can of Coke on the floor in front of each apartment. We're getting closer and closer. They're not saying a word to us. When we get in close, we realize that they're kids like us, about our age. Would have been about 12. So yeah, 12-year-old kids smoking in the hallway. The leader of the 4 was the tallest, and he had 3 toadies. If you don't know what a toady is, a toady would be a kid that would normally be picked on by a bully, but they make an allegiance deal. So they swear allegiance to the bully, they do the bully's bidding, and they don't get beat down. It's kind of like a lord and vassal servitude type relationship. No one talks about it, but it just kind of naturally happens in that order. So as we get closer, the leader comes over and he says, What are you guys doing? And again, as kids and as scouts and as representatives of the Coca-Cola company, I was like, well, sir, we're delivering cans of the new formula Coke to all the residences around, and would like you to try one. It says right in the scout law, scout is courteous. So, kid takes the can of Coke, grabs it actually, looks at us, and he said, I'm going to tell you something right now. This better be good or you're dead. Now, I'm sure that the people at Coca-Cola and the executives all were under a lot of pressure to come out with a new formula Coke. They're like, oh my God, this Coke better be good. We could be yelled at or sent back to the drawing board. We might even be fired, but not us. Frenchie and I, we were in a taste test for our lives. Now, kids with a little bit more life experience, at that moment, we could have just run. But I don't know why we stood there and awaited his assessment of the Coke. Why didn't we just run? He cracked it. Frenchie's eyes are on him. My eyes are on him. The three toadies' eyes are all on him as he raises the can to his lips. Swishes it around, and we're just staring at him. He assessed the Coke. It sucks! And he throws the can on the ground. He points at Frenchie and I and says, get him! Frenchie and I start to run. Now, Frenchie and I, we did pretty well because, you know what? We were in scouts. We both had our physical fitness badges. So, we were off. All we had to do was outrun a bunch of smoking teenagers. We broke a lot of distance quickly. We left them in the dust. However, Frenchie and I probably weighed about 85 pounds, and we were carrying about 40 pounds of Coke each. So as we got further down the hallway, they were gaining. And I realized that based on our speed, their speed, and the distance to the door, we weren't going to make it. I also had my science badge. So I got into the stairwell. Frenchie and I made it to the first landing. And I knew that this was it. This was take a stand or take a beating. I reached into my bag and I took a can of new Coke. And as the first guy come around the stairwell, I lobbed it at him with everything I had. I used to play baseball on the Falcons, so I was pretty good throwing. Ping! Took out a toady immediately. Got him right in the chest. Staggered him back. The rest of them came out to the stairwell and they started advancing. And Frenchie, I almost said his name, Frenchie and I start firing cans at these kids. And we're slowly moving back. Bing! Bing! It was like a force field of new Coke. Bing! Bing! And they're advancing on us. Cans of Coke are smashing and popping, and everything's covered with fizz. My little green beret, my little green shirt, and my red sash adorned with all of the things I've learned and all the service I had done for the community, now stained with Coke. Frenchie and I are moving backwards. All of a sudden, these guys realize that there's cans of Coke on the floor. So now they pick them up, and they're hucking them down the stairs at us. So they had the advantage of gravity. So now we're getting beamed with cans. We're in the middle of a Coke can fight for our lives in a dark stairwell somewhere that I won't mention. Frenchie and I continued to back up as they advanced. We bust through the door. Scouter Al was waiting there in his station wagon with the two other scouts. We just come barreling out the door. Go! Go! It was like that IKEA woman, only we were going to die, not have to pay full price. Jumped into the car. Just go! Scouter Al hits it. Brown station wagon with wood paneling. Peeling out. Toadies and Coke-covered bullies alike come bursting through the door, shaking fists as we drive off. We were safe, so we pointed back and laughed. Ha ha! Enjoy that! The thing is, when you're in those situations, you don't have the wherewithal to say something cool, right? When I first threw that can, I could have said something cool like Bruce Willis or hey, have a Coke and a smile on me, buddy. But I didn't. I think I just threw the can and went, because I was frightened. But that was the tale of new Coke. Now, side note to that, it was an absolute flop. Absolute flop. Everyone was outraged that they changed the formula. And a few months later, Coke came out with Coke Classic. So you could buy your favorite new Coke or the original formula, Coca-Cola Classic. Coca-Cola was the name of the classic and Coke was the new variety. Coca-Cola Classic was a huge hit. People who hadn't bought Coke for years were like, yeah, I'll buy the old, yeah. People were getting into it. People that weren't even involved in the Cola Wars. So while New Coke almost tanked the company, Coke Classic brought it back. And I was almost beaten up in a dirty stairwell in an unnamed town. This has been Chad for Sackville Sunday Stories. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. All you Sack villains and all you Sack vegans. Take care.